happy Saturday to our amazing audience. And once again, welcome to another episode of the 9 to 5 Casual. If you're new to our podcast, this is a platform where we discuss with young professionals and entrepreneurs on the rise. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify at the 9 to 5 Casuals. So today we have with us Dr. Daniel DeLeon. Welcome to the 9 to 5 Casual.
Hi, welcome.
Hi, Daniel.
Geez, are we rehearsing?
Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, I saw your first episode with Janet, and she was wonderful. That voice is absolutely amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
She can sing.
if you haven't seen this episode, you definitely should watch the episode with Janet. It was really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And welcome to you guys. It's happy to see you.
Hi.
I mean, welcome back.
Thank you, thank you.
last
We missed you
week.
last week.
Daddy duties.
Okay.
Daddy to be.
So, do you guys have anything amazing, crazy that happened over the weekend or during the weekday? Anything that you guys want to talk about?
Let me think.
My niece graduated pre-K.
Oh, that's good.
Graduation party today, so that's pretty
Oh.
awesome. Yeah.
That's why you're just. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That's
Oh.
What about you and Didi?
I went on a date and he brought his son on the date.
Oh, yeah. That.
Oh, wow.
That was exciting.
Cool.
How
How,
was
old
that,
is the
though?
son?
Interesting.
6 years old. That was the first for me.
Interesting or exciting?
Okay.
That is interesting. That means a lot. If he brings his son, that means, you know.
No, his son was really cute though.
Oh, okay now.
What about you, Daniel?
You know, not too much going on here. I've been self-quarantined myself, so I can't really
good.
say much is going on besides work nowadays.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, hopefully this be all over soon.
I joined Tinder.
Ooh,
really?
okay.
How's that going? How's it going?
Well-
occur.
Nothing
Wow.
creepy. Nothing creepy yet.
Yes.
Alright.
Okay.
It's funny because one of the guy lives 3 minutes from me.
Stalker.
He sent me a message. He was like, "Wait, are you in my apartment complex?" Because he was like, "We have the same setup." I was like, "I know where you live, but we don't live in the same
Yeah.
apartment
Yeah.
complex."
Wow.
Delete.
I know, like that. Too close for comfort.
But I
So
had
Daniel,
one
you
date,
talked about
so-
work. So where do you work?
So I work for HEB Pharmacy. I'm a pharmacist manager up in New Braunfels, Texas.
Oh wow, cool.
That's
So
pretty
do you?
far.
I was about to say, do you stay in San Antonio? Do you?
I live in San Antonio, yes. And you know, it's not that bad of a drive. I guess it's all relative. I have friends that live in Houston and drive, an hour to work in the same city.
True.
Oh.
I drive 25 minutes to work, and it's
Alright.
two different cities.
So traffic is not bad, right?
It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all, especially for where I live. I hit maybe one light the whole entire way there. which
Oh
is-
wow.
Okay,
which is
that's
great.
not
That's not
bad.
bad.
So I'm just curious, why did you decide to become a pharmacist?
Well, long story in a short version is I grew up with my grandparents. Yeah, they always were taking medication when I was growing up with them. They didn't speak much English though, so it was hard for me to communicate. Unfortunately, I didn't learn Spanish at a young age, or even now, I speak a little bit, but
It's like broken
Not
Spanish,
yeah, it's
Spanglish.
definitely broken a little bit. I used to speak the most at my HEB though, so when everyone would ask for someone that speaks Spanish, they would call me. Which I felt,
And they think you.
yeah,
you know how to
yeah, I
speak
felt
it.
pretty cool. I felt pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
Play it off.
That's right. That's right.
Gotcha.
So I grew up with my grandparents, and my grandfather didn't speak English at all. My grandmother spoke very little. So I'll see him take medication day to day, and I asked my grandmother, why do you and grandpa take medication or pills? And she put it in the most basic way possible for a 6-year-old to understand, and it was just to make us strong. As time went by, my grandfather got sick. He was a construction worker, so he was always working outside, always in the heat, and developed skin cancer. He also had diabetes, so it made it pretty severe in the sense he actually had to have his extremities amputated. So he was bedridden and passed away soon after. And I asked my grandmother during this time, why can't he just take pills to make him strong again? She couldn't answer it. So I wanted to find out why. So I became a pharmacist.
That's beautiful.
Story.
We actually went to the same school, and I can attest that this story is very real.
Oh, it's not just the
What school
What
did you guys
school?
go to?
We went to the Fike School of Pharmacy at the University of Incarnate Word.
Oh,
Yeah, here in
wow.
San Antonio.
You school in San Antonio?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Pharmacy school. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So what was the
So,
process like picking
yeah.
a pharmacy school to go to?
To pick a pharmacy school, so it was relatively straightforward for me. I'm not the smartest person on the block. I've met smart people before. I'm not one of them. That being said, I'm able to play my odds. So probability speaking, if I was able to go to a school where I could, well, first of all, it's in my home city, so I have family support, which is very, very nice, but also a place where it was a brand new pharmacy school. I was able to show a lot of face there, get to know the staff while going to undergrad there, and make good relationships and just show them what kind of person I am. Also volunteer there.
Yeah.
I'm able to increase my probability of getting in versus applying to a school that is far from home. It's hard to build those relationships. It's hard to build that connections with people. So I just played my probability right and just thought that the Fike School of Pharmacy had the highest probability of me getting accepted because I had those advantages of getting to know the staff, do the volunteer work, getting to be in the pre-pharm association in undergrad, and luckily it paid out very well. So I was able to do an accelerated program, which I did not have to get a bachelor's degree first to apply for my doctorate.
Wow.
Did 2 years undergrad and then 4 years graduate school. So completed
Wow,
it in
okay.
6 years.
That's pretty smart.
You
putting
are
all of these
smart.
Things together.
Right.
Yeah. So what you mean you're not smart?
Exactly.
Like I don't think a lot of people know that they can do that or that information. I like the way you analyzed it and you checked your odds. Like that's wow.
I hope people, our listeners, are taking notes because this is
real.
definitely valuable information. Thank you, Daniel.
You know, absolutely. Not a lot of people know that you don't have to get a degree for pharmacy school or to get your
didn't know
doctorate.
that.
In some cases, shapes and forms, it depends on the school. So please do your research first. And my best advice to anyone out there is make relationships. You know, you might look good on paper, but if you can't make a connection with the person that is interviewing you, the people that are the faculty at the campus, then it's not going to go too well. You have to be able to build people relationships. And even though I'm not the smartest in the books, I'm pretty good with people. I know how to shake a hand. I know how to smile at the right
You
time.
didn't shake my hand.
COVID.
We still got time.
We're not shaking hands.
I'm saving lives right now.
You know what?
by not shaking hands.
Good answer.
Daniel's not much of a handshaker. Even me, I've known him for like 10 years, and we don't really shake hands.
So what do you guys do? Like you
First
just
meeting.
you do the bump or you do the
On the
hand?
first
Yeah,
We
meeting.
shake hands and it's quick because he always said my hands are sweaty. Something
Oh.
like that.
They always
Are you a germaphobe?
No, I just I like my hands clean. So like I touch a lot of I'm always working on a computer, right?
Okay.
I just like my computer to be clean because if I have like oils or dirt on there, it's just like my OCD kind of
Oh,
thing.
he's those ones at the job that goes.
Yeah,
Always
Always
wiping
wiping
down.
every day.
That's
Exactly.
good for Corona.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I was washing my hands before it was cool. You know?
So you don't have a problem then. So what was some ups and downs of pharmacy school?
You know, life happens. Life is definitely ups and downs and just insane. I know it's very vague, but so growing up with my grandparents, don't get me wrong, my parents were still there. They just worked a lot. My father was in the military. He moved around quite a
Oh, so
bit.
you're a military brat.
Yeah, exactly. I am. My mother, she worked 2 jobs just to feed me because I eat a lot. Yeah.
Teenage boys.
And you know, as time goes by, unfortunately, my family's health in some cases would deteriorate, including my grandmother. So I remember specifically where I was in school, and the school that me and Nate went to, we had to take maybe 2 tests a week, in some cases 4 tests a week. It was an accelerated block program, and it was just always going. You never had time to rest. And when life came at you, it was up to you whether or not you wanted to put school on hold and chance that, or keep on pushing through. And I just always had to push through. So there was times where I had my grandmother, for example, deteriorating in hospice, and you know, I had to sit there with the book in front of my face, just trying to take one word in, just trying to accept, because I had to keep on studying, and because trying to catch up after you miss a few tests or after it's just impossible. And don't get me wrong, this happened to other people too, and some had to be held back because it's hard to balance that, hard to take in that information that you still have to study. And yes, don't get me wrong, the staff is great. They'll work with you, and they did work with me, but you're still required to learn the material because you will be tested on a national study. So you had to make those choices, and it's hard. It really is hard sometimes. Life happens. I know Nate went through quite a bit his first year.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Tell us,
It
we want
was
to know.
horrible.
What's the story?
Sounds like there's a
getting
story
into
there.
pharmacy school, it wasn't that easy for me. So first of all, they confused my name with somebody else. Actually, there was two Nathaniel.
Oh wow.
His last name started with an O. Right, and my last name starts with an O too. So I call him and I say, hey, I haven't heard from you guys. I haven't gotten the acceptance letter. And I told me, hey, yeah, you did get accepted. Oh, okay, cool. But I haven't gotten anything. And they're like, oh, sorry, it was somebody else. And you didn't get accepted. I was like, whoa. But 3 days later, I got the hey, sorry, we made a mistake. I was like, whoa. So started, I had a hard time getting an apartment, but like luckily I met like my brother Dizzy. He offered me a room to stay, and I got into a car accident my first year.
Wow.
That's how I started working with CVS because I had to pay bills and my deductible and stuff like that, So, but the amazing thing about the School of Pharmacy, Fike School of Pharmacy, is having people like Daniel. He's been a brother to me, and his family is amazing. His mom, his dad, they always invite me over to cook, and I just love him like a family. So the support I had was just amazing. Made the experience just unique and awesome. Yeah.
Daniel, speaking about all the challenges, trying to balance real life and pharmacy school, was there a point where you ever considered like switching careers, like changing and not being a pharmacist anymore?
I always had those dreams to be like an astronaut and an astronaut. Actually, I'm a very I guess you could say physical person in the sense like when it comes to like sports, I box a little bit, so I do a little bit of fighting. I wanted to be San Antonio SWAT team for a little bit. That was just a dream that I had.
I want to be like you when I grow up.
It turns out San Antonio SWAT team is, I believe it's like ranked #1 in the nation. Now this was a few years ago. Yeah. So I'm not sure how it is now.
Good to know.
But it was like #1 in the nation, which was very impressive. So it's actually almost impossible to get into the SWAT team because those that make it in stay in there basically until they retire. But I always had my mind and my heart set on being a pharmacist. I always wanted to be a pharmacist because of my childhood experiences with my grandparents.
Wow, cool. How's it like growing up in San Antonio? Because I heard you saying and it was a home school. I'm guessing you grew up in San Antonio?
We did. So since my father was in the military, we did move around a little bit. But we've always called San Antonio home sweet home here. And I liked it. My school, I grew up in the inner city. I didn't go to the best high school. It doesn't need to be said.
Well, you came out well.
Exactly.
So you can say it proudly.
Yeah, we're on like World Star every single week. That's the kind of high school we went to. Yeah, I got introduced to a lot of things at a very, very young age, which I guess now is the norm, unfortunately. But came out well. My high school didn't provide the best curriculum, so when I got accepted into college, it was definitely a learning curve that I had to push myself into. And then I was taking anywhere between 18 to 21 hours a semester because I needed to basically not do 4 years and 2 years, but there's a good amount of workload. If I'm doing the accelerated program, the 2 years of undergrad and then 4 years of graduate school, you had to cram a lot into those 2 years. So I had a lot of catching up to do and just took one step at a time. Yeah.
It's amazing to hear that when you said your story first and all the challenges now you go say that your high school was not the best, so that just throws some more light in what you had to what you went through.
So you are smart because you did say that you had a lot of challenges, especially with your grandparents or your grandmother being sick while you're in pharmacy school, but you didn't switch career. That was good because I was a pre-nursing major in college.
The story is hilarious.
So Doris used to always tell me, I really don't think you should continue with pre-nursing because those. I mean, I don't see you with your books all the time. I will open my book and I'm like, what? What is this? It just wasn't my cup
So you had
of
no
tea.
passion,
I
basically.
no, it was, but I thought it was nursing because my family, the nurses in my family, so everybody was like, you should do nursing, blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this. So, but I would do psychology and I'll have A's and the other sociology. I would, like there were just certain classes that I would take that had my attention where I would stay up, I would study. When it comes to biology, anatomy, I was like, what's this? So I changed my major. This is how it happened. I wasn't.
Wait, but before you change your major, that we had to have like a SOS call. Like I had to be the therapist because I'm like, wait,
Yes.
because all the nurses. Let me just give some of the back history why I told her that is. All the nursing students, and I don't know if this just had to do with nursing that we saw, they all had like this gigantic
Stack of
books.
books, yeah.
Like one of this book was like one book. I'm like, wait, what? So when she said she wants to do nursing, I'm like, wait, but I don't see you.
Daniela, did you even buy any of the books?
No, she did.
I did.
We had them in the house. I'm like, wait. I'm like, yeah, we had to do SOS. I was like, okay, wait, what do you want to do? What's your passion? She said, okay, helping people. I was like, but guess what? You can do other things to help people. It
Yeah,
doesn't have to be nursing. So
Then I was in my anatomy class, started, I was getting A's on all the quizzes and everything. And then we got to, one day I was just in class and I was like, what is this? This is gibberish. I just packed my bags. I went to my counselor and I changed my major.
Just like that.
Yes.
Okay.
She was like, are you sure? I was like, I'm done. And then 2 weeks later, I told my family. So it's good to see that, you stuck with your passion.
Yeah.
And kudos
So
to
for
you.
him, it
Yeah.
sounded like it was a passion thing.
Yeah.
From when you were pretty young.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're just figuring out, if you're figuring out what you want to do, then it's easier, I guess, to change course and move to something else.
And
Because
has
it's your
it-
passion.
And has it been everything you've hoped it would be? Like,
Everything I hoped and more. It's absolutely amazing when you go out of your way to help someone and they come back to you maybe a day or a week later and they just come with you just a big smile and just saying thank you. It's really it's just so powerful to make an impact in people's lives. And a lot of people think we're just back there counting pills per se, or just billing insurances or talking to insurances and just repeating the same words. But it goes far beyond that, and the type of relationships you build with people. You get to know these people's lives in and out, and their the weight they carry on their shoulders. Some of them, they don't have anyone to speak to, so they come to speak to the pharmacist, maybe just to talk about their day, or just to vent, or just to sometimes even cry. And you're like one of their closest friends in some cases. So it's just very touching to know that I can make an impact on my customers' lives, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
I had a customer say, "Hey, I love you, man. Thank you for all you do." I say, "Hey, I love you too, but take that survey."
That's interesting. I
amazing.
don't get that
Always
kind of
talk
love
about
from many
this
pharmacists.
survey.
When I go to CVS and I get my prescription, it's not even the pharmacist. It's like, I don't know what they call them, but
the
That's
tech,
like
the
the technician.
technicians.
yeah, those people
Seriously.
come. I don't know. Where do you guys work?
HEB and
HEB.
I
and
love,
CVS.
yeah, I love talking to
Maybe the
patients.
next time
it
you
is.
go, you should be like, "Can I see who is the pharmacist here?"
and just cry.
or just start busting crying and then
I need a
Is that
friend.
what works? Is that what happens?
You also have to think about where this patient came from. So more than likely, in some cases, this person had a traumatic event where they had to go to the hospital and they had to be treated, IVs, and then they just get discharged and they come to the pharmacy. You're basically their last stop out of a day of just chaos.
Okay,
Right.
So
that makes sense.
they're just trying to get home. They're just trying to get home. They may or may not even have the money to pay for this, but the doctor said they need to live, or they want to live, of course. So they're just coming to you at the last day of a headache, and they just want to go home. So people could be a little bit rude as well, but once you're able to serve them and take care of them, they come back to you and they're happy. They're like, you took care of me. This is where we're going to do our business from now on because of how you treated us during this hard time.
So it seems like you're a kind person, very nice. Have you ever paid for a customer prescription, other restrictions, like, other rules, guidelines where you're not supposed to, even though if you're in a position to do that?
So So technically, we're not supposed to pay for anyone's medications, but as pharmacy manager, I have the power to do anything that I deem is necessary to make sure that this patient is taken care of.
Right.
Luckily, I'm with the company that I'm able to take care of the patients and how I see fit to make sure that they go home with either their medication or satisfied or have a plan to take care of them.
That's nice.
We're not going to let anyone go home without being taken care of.
That's good.
That's
I like
good
that.
to know.
Amazing.
And that's how it should be.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely,
very,
definitely.
very kind.
Hey, one thing I admire about you, Dan Daniel, is the ability to change, right? So you were very passionate about sports. You used to work out a lot, but what happened and how did you switch into photography?
So I was fighting a lot. I was fighting quite a bit, and don't get me wrong, I'm not in any like pay-per-view or anything like that. It was just sparring, but I was sparring. Yeah. World Star. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We should
Yeah.
go check. Maybe there's some
No,
Daniel
right.
footage in there.
Luckily, I'm pretty sure I'm not on World Star, but I was fighting a lot, and during one of my sparring matches, I threw a left hook, and unfortunately, after I threw, I heard something just pop. And my arm was out of commission. So I don't know what. I never went to the doctor. You know, what are they gonna tell me? Like, oh yeah, don't use your arm. Okay, I won't. Well, I already knew that. Thank you. And it took actually about 8 months to heal. But during that time, I'm not the type of person just to sit down. I have the personality of keep on going, Energizer
good.
Bunny kind of thing. Just keep on going and going. Always try to do something. So because I stopped that, I actually picked up photography and salsa dancing. I didn't really need my hands for photography too much besides holding the camera, but you could just do that with one hand. And during school, actually, me and Nate, we had about 30 friends that would go out and would just go out in the city and just enjoy the night. And it was amazing times. And we may or may not have had adult beverages, which does make it a little bit difficult to remember the night.
Please tell us more. Once
So-
again.
Hangover movie.
So
The pictures.
Do you have
that's,
pictures?
that's what I would do. I would be the camera guy.
Okay.
I would be the
Oh, I
camera guy.
see.
Yes. So I would be the camera guy, just taking pictures throughout the whole entire night. You just see this random flash going off in the corner. Yeah, that was me. And so I always had a camera on me taking pictures of just the night. And these pictures are some of my favorite pictures, even now that I'm a photographer, because they just have so much meaning and so much emotion behind them. They're just such great memories. And I believe that's what photography is about, capturing the emotion of people, the memories of people, and just capturing the beauty that's already in front of you. But that's how I got into photography. That's how I picked up a camera. And I actually started charging because so I'm a big nerd, guys, and this might be a little bit nerdy, but hopefully some people out there could reference this. But like the great Joker said in Batman, is if you're good at something, don't do it for free.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's how I started getting paid for my photography, is that people actually started liking these photos and wanting them and actually willing to pay. So
I mean,
What kind of photography are you into?
So as of right now, I am saying yes to everything because I want to experience everything, just like life. Life has so much to offer. It's a shame to miss out on anything. The type of person I am, I'm a yes man. I just say yes to basically anything because you never know if you're going to like it or not. Life it's abundant.
I'm
So
definitely
do you have a
booking
favorite spot? Do you have like a favorite kind of photography you like?
You know, at this point in time, I don't. It's just whatever the client wants. And in some cases, I've never done anything like it before, but I just say yes to it. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Like, you have to be confident. You want a photographer that's confident, that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In some cases, I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah.
Just
I've
go with the
Just-
flow.
just
never
play it
done.
off.
I have never done anything
that.
like that. I just say yes to it. I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Giving them the assurance.
But when you
So as an event planner, and I find myself finding vendors like photographers to do a job. And if I came to you and I said, oh, my couples like you and they wanted you to be, or they're looking for a photographer and I wanted to give you the job, like knowing if you haven't done it before, like what's that process? Would you go do some reading? Would you go look up something? Like what would you do to get you prepared for the day of? Because a wedding is a big day. Like we don't want any mistakes or somebody who doesn't know what to do. So, like,
just like the great, I think Michelangelo said, I'm still learning. Every single day you should be, or in my opinion, you should be pushing yourself to learn more. And if you take on a challenge and if you're actually willing to take someone's money, you better deliver. So you need to make sure you're doing your studying. I am still going to YouTube University, and and you can learn anything. You can learn anything off of YouTube now. And some of my best photo shoots, I think this is the last photo shoot, last photo shoot I had before the virus it was a maternity shoot. And
I saw that. I liked it.
Oh my gosh, these pictures came out wonderful. My client, she sent me some photos and she's like, I want this. Again, had no idea how to do this. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Like, yeah, no problem. I could do that. Just had to learn. I just had to make sure to make it happen. So it's one of my best photo shoots that I've had, and it turned out wonderful. She absolutely loved it. And because she loved it so much, she's now a returning client. She'll come to me and just continue business and then recommendations. And that's how I market myself. I'm not very big into social media. I think the last time I posted was, it was months ago. Yeah, it was months ago.
I'm not stalking.
And
She did her homework on you.
And having good client feedback, is that what makes you realize that you're a good photographer and that you're good at what you do? That it's not just a hobby you picked up, like.
A good photographer, I guess that's all relative, and in the person's state of mind. It's like, you might say I'm a great or a good photographer. I say thank you to that. I don't think I'm a great photographer. Now, I do like my work, but I still have so much to learn. And compared to those that are out there and have been doing this for a living, maybe that's pushed them to do even more, do better. Myself, luckily, I have a 9-to-5 that provides for me. So I don't rely on this business, but it definitely helps me push myself to do a little bit more, to learn something new in this world and just experience it all. So when maybe an event comes around, I could help out during that time and be.
Oh, definitely.
And are you inspired by any photographers out there? Like, do you like any?
I just know them by their Instagram names. But there's this one street photographer that I just started following, and he lives in New York, and he's absolutely amazing. Some of these beautiful images. His name is Professor Hines. That's his Instagram name. Yeah, Professor Hines. And I'm not sure, maybe it could be put up on the screen on YouTube or something like that. But he is absolutely a phenomenal street photographer, and definitely worth checking him out. Yeah, Professor Hines.
Heinz like ketchup? The Heinz?
Yes, Hines?
Yes, that's right. All one word. And my particular type of photography, I love colors. I think.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah. I absolutely love colors because life has so much color. It's just such. I just love the vibrance, the vibrance within the colors. I think it shows a lot of passion, a lot of life into it. And that's what most of my photography is. I think my last photo shoot which was that maternity shoot, was a little bit different. It was more of a silhouette type of thing, which came out absolutely wonderful. But in majority of my pictures, it's going to be very vibrant colors.
I mean, I really like your personality, because I've gone through your Instagram page and the photos are amazing. But one thing you always, and you've been saying, is I'm still learning. So you're very humble. So I believe with that attitude, you're going to go far. You can sit here and say, I'm this great photographer, which I think you are, because, I like what I see. So, just keep that up. And yeah.
Oh, thank
Are
you.
your prices affordable?
What are your price points?
Yes.
You're about to get
Since,
booked.
I was a client. I'm a very satisfied client.
Oh, wait, was he the one that took your picture? I was going to ask that.
What picture?
Not the recent one, but like we did I guess the baby reveal, like
Okay, it was him.
Oh, it was him?
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Those are pretty
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I need to go
Very,
check it out.
very satisfied.
So what is your prices? Because you know.
It all depends on what we're doing.
What we're doing.
Yeah,
It's the
it's
type of
gonna
the
differ.
equipment that I need to bring, how many people are going to be there, the time that's required to it. It really all depends, but for you guys, let's just make it happen.
And you're open for negotiation.
Yeah,
You're open
yeah.
to
I mean,
negotiation.
I'm here. I'm also learning, like I said.
Yes.
But
You can practice with one of us. I mean, for
I
free.
mean, yeah, I'm
I
not.
can be a model for free.
I'm not gonna say no.
Oh, really?
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Can I
I'm
join?
serious, though.
No, you know what?
Can I
You know what we
join?
should do?
They wanna
Maybe
have-
we should do a 9 to 5 photo shoot when
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
9 to our podcast, just a photo shoot
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
for like
yeah.
That is a
promotion.
great
But that
idea.
Yeah,
would
that's a
be
good idea. For
when
the podcast.
COVID we're back to kind of normal.
Where you
Anyway,
can,
that's fine
you
with
know.
you?
We can talk about
Yeah.
it.
No, but
You want to do a separate one?
Yeah, she
yes.
wants-
Okay.
yeah. I want to know, do you have a process for your photography? Is there like something you do to get
An intake process.
not an intake process, but to get you in the right state of mind for I guess there
Okay.
needs to be chemistry, I guess, between you and the client when you're taking photos. Is there like a process you have to kind of get people to that space to give you?
No,
what it is
absolutely. You
want?
want to make sure they're relaxed because when people are just relaxed, that's when you get the best pictures, of
Yeah.
course. So my style is more so. I'm a hype man, especially with my female clients. You know, I'm their hype man.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, you need to just try to mimic this walk. And when they're walking, I don't know if I could try to walk. No, the camera's set where it is. But I would walk for you guys anytime. But
You can do it after because we
but
want to
yeah,
see
exactly. But I'm just like, dang, all right, yeah, you got it. Oh, I see you did that hair flip. Ooh! That's fire. So
Fire.
I'm screaming into the
That's
mic
good.
now.
Yeah, that would get the photo.
I'm the
I like
hype man,
that.
and you know, I am a little bit overboard, but what does it do? It puts a smile on this
Yeah.
person's face.
Yeah.
You know, it makes them. I'm a big goofball, so they're just hopefully it brings out a smile to them and just makes them feel a little bit more relaxed. Okay, builds confidence that they're like, okay, I do look good. You know what I mean? And that's my thing as of right now, and I think it's working out well. I put on music. Music also helps.
Oh, music
Yeah.
is
well.
good.
Set the mood.
Yeah.
Have
I'm
you
definitely
have you
coming
done
your
any
way.
collaborations with any
Other
any other
photographers?
photographers in San Antonio?
Not necessarily photographers in San Antonio, but all with companies. Yeah. So if I've done a photo shoot, or Whataburger has hired me.
marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, it
That's
was
good,
great.
that's
right?
good.
A returning customer.
Now you're
yeah.
not learning. You're
You're
not,
not
You're
learning,
not
but
learning.
see,
You're
but
just being too humble.
He's so humble.
He
I
is
like
humble,
that
yeah.
about him.
Yeah.
I like that about him
Whataburger?
because Whataburger,
It's pretty big. That's
yeah.
big.
So
I saw you practicing with some videography with your brother.
Oh,
You
that's
guys
right.
were-
Yeah, so I'm also doing videography now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
during this COVID time, I stopped taking photography clients just to practice social distancing and just stop putting myself out there in the world. So, like I said, I'm always the type of person that keeps on going. I need to start learning something. I need to keep
That's
on
good.
doing something. So I learned videography now. So I've been practicing on that. I've been practicing with my brother and my girlfriend, and they're great models. And yeah, we're doing like drink videos. So I've been
that's
posting
good.
that on Facebook and just
Drink
learning.
videos?
Yeah,
What's
like
that?
What does that mean?
cocktails.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so doing B-roll for that, and it's a lot of fun.
What's
It's just-
B-roll?
So B-roll is sort of like what's a good way?
Highlight reel, he said.
Like a highlight reel. That's a really
Okay.
good way to put it. Yeah, a highlight reel where it's just basically there's no audio to it per se. You're speaking over the video, and then it's just like going. This is a good question. This is a good question.
Sorry.
So,
B-roll.
like a
What is it?
B-roll?
What is it?
I wish I could explain it better.
Google.
Obviously, I don't know it well
Okay,
enough
I
to
was just
explain it.
Googling.
We'll look it up.
But
Yeah, yeah.
B-roll
You're good.
is highlighting your subject in a little snippet, maybe like three,
Okay.
yeah, in a cinematic way. Would probably be a way to put it.
Okay.
Got you.
YouTube
sounds
University,
interesting.
here we go.
That's right, YouTube
I
University.
learned a lot from YouTube. I learned
Yeah.
how to do my makeup from YouTube, wigs. I was learning how to sew from YouTube, everything.
I learned how to
So-
fix a tire on YouTube. Like my spare, like change it.
YouTube University, just
Yeah.
learn
On the
it all from
spot?
there.
Yes, my
That's
brother
great.
had the phone and I changed it. Like I was so proud of
That's
myself.
awesome.
Wow.
Good job.
Yeah.
Was this in San Antonio?
No, it was in Dallas. And my brother was moving to Seoul. It was getting dark, so I was like, hold the phone.
Yeah.
I don't have time for this.
That's
So I
awesome.
did it. And it was cool.
Yeah.
YouTube has everything.
No, it really does. I mean, we are in an
One-stop
age
shop.
of information now. You know, we don't. I mean, most people we're not required to remember things anymore because we have the power of the world in our
Instant.
hands
Yeah.
with our phones. You know, this is the age of information.
Yeah.
You know, so YouTube, Google, you can find anything nowadays.
What do you tell customers that tell you, hey, what time do you close?
Right? I know.
Google
Just Google it.
And
That's
the
right
door.
there. You know, I used to get mad when people tell me Google it, but
It's kind of rude.
it is.
It
It's
is kinda
rude
rude,
though.
yeah.
It's rude. Like I'm
Yeah.
not
That is
saying.
rude.
So let me ask you, both of you are the doctors. Let me ask you guys a question since we're talking about all this information out there. Have you guys ever met the customers who have gone to YouTube to diagnose or analyze what is
yeah.
going
Oh,
on?
one of
those people.
And when they get to you, it's more like they're comparing what she said and what they
So
found
what
on
the
Google. Have you experienced that? And how would you handle it?
Every single day is I would say at least 30 times in an hour probably.
wow.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Googling
sure
YouTube.
Nate could attest to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I read this somewhere and stuff
Google
like that.
says you're dying.
Trying to be like all expert and stuff, and then you give them advice and they do total opposite. I'm like,
Yep.
okay,
Go to Google.
it's fun. It's part of the job. Like makes it kind of fun. Though,
It
so.
actually makes it worse, in my opinion. Because yeah, people freak out on everything they read online, and don't get me wrong.
really bad,
so
though.
mean.
It's always
Exactly.
bad.
But what that doesn't tell you is the research that went behind it shows maybe the probability of that actually happening is less than 1%. So it's a very low
Could
probability.
be the 1%.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But probability speaking,
I'm just
you're not-
joking.
I know you're right. It definitely could happen, but more than likely it's not. So don't freak yourself out,
Yeah.
especially when you're taking such a low dose of a medication or not taking it as frequently as others. As medical professionals, we know the dosing limits of medication and the dangerous limits of those too. Don't get me wrong. Everyone is different. Someone could take something and it react differently in their body versus another person. Generally speaking, though, it's going to be a very safe reaction because these medications have been studied very thoroughly.
Just like with COVID, I found it funny how like an article came out in France stating that patients experiencing symptoms with COVID should not take ibuprofen. Next thing you know, every shelf of Tylenol was wiped out because of that one article, and people didn't really check the validity of it. They just follow that,
Yeah.
and it was just funny to see people coming.
More money
Do you
for
have
the
Tylenol? It's all gone.
It's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of the shelves are still empty right now because of everything that's going on. People are just
C.
vitamin C, zinc is all gone.
Zinc, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that is good too.
Yeah.
Excedrin is all gone right now too. You
Yeah.
can't find that.
So how have you guys, your pharmacy, been handling the pandemic and COVID-19 right now?
We're doing pretty well. We're all keeping social distancing in factor, and we used to have stations that were against the limitations of social distancing. So as a group, we decided to make that a thing. So now we're all staying 6 feet apart. We're constantly cleaning, some better than others, but we're getting through, and just taking it day by day. I think that's what you just gotta keep on doing.
Are you guys required to wear masks?
We are wearing masks for majority of the day. Of course, we're back there for anywhere between 8 to 10 hours a day. So
Jeez.
we had to have a little break sometimes.
I'm tired.
Hey, I know you salsa dance. So when was the last time you danced? Like with this social distancing, what's going on?
Yeah. So
How do you salsa dance with social distancing? How does that even work?
so
Put your mask.
okay, so you'll be surprised. It does work. It does work actually. So when it comes to salsa dancing, there's
All the buddy to buddy and
well, you see,
They won't do that.
I mean, you could be creative in that way. So there's more than one way to salsa dance, that's for sure. Out of those ways, there's partner work, and then there's what we call shines, and that's going to be your individual dance, basically. So it's basically where your spotlight to shine. So that's going to be your shine.
Like I said,
Like if you're with someone, you want to dance with them.
Yes.
like I said,
But
the
so
best-
have the class moved on to just if you guys are still having classes, have you guys just moved on to more of the shine as opposed to the partner work?
Exactly. Most studios right now, and this is speaking for basically most of the nation, most studios right now are not doing partner work, and they're doing shine work only, which keeps your social distancing in factor, and then also limit the amount of people that go to your class.
What's the name
Are
of
they-
your? Sorry, what's the name of your salsa group?
I am with the San Antonio Salsa on 2.
Okay.
Yeah, they're absolutely amazing. Shout out to Dario and Yuki. They are my senseis,
Okay.
and they are my dance instructors, and they're just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
is it free?
That is up to them.
Or do you
Yeah.
pay though?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
It's
so-
not free.
So
Yeah.
with-
Yeah.
so
If
with
you're
the
taking
whole
classes, you have to pay.
I want to join.
You know, I
So-
think it's totally worth it because I've known Daniel for 10 years, and back then he wasn't a great dancer. but if you watch some of his recent videos, like, oh my
What's
god,
videos on
Where's the
YouTube?
video?
What's the
So-
name
Yeah.
again?
So this is San Antonio Salsa N2. They have a website and everything. I'm definitely on that website. I did a interview with them and something similar to this.
Oh, I need to join.
And it
So
was-
where are
was
your
great.
dancing videos?
we need to
You
see
know,
it.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. There's somewhere online.
you have
I
some on
love
your
dancing.
Facebook, right?
I'm sorry.
You have some on your Facebook.
I believe so. Yeah. So I was showcasing with my team. It was Fuego Yawa, and we did some showcasing in Houston and San Antonio, and it was great. It was definitely a great experience.
So
Doris,
are you guys offering? So I don't know. Before the COVID, do you guys have like virtual options? Because I know one of the things I've done as an event planner in this COVID was tell my engaged couples, something you can do right now is take dance classes. So start practicing your first dance. So is it something your company is doing, like virtual classes? Are you guys?
Yeah,
is
no,
that-
they're already offering virtual classes,
Okay.
which is wonderful. I think nowadays when you have the power of the whole entire world on your hands, on your phone, I mean, you could do anything with it now, especially with webcams. Every phone has a camera now, and they do stream their classes live,
Okay,
so
that's
anyone could join in from the comfort of their home and enjoy some salsa.
Okay, I'll go check them out. Who knows?
So your pharmacist, your dancer, you used to
Photographer.
fight, your photographer. I mean, do you see yourself owning your own pharmacy or a photographer, like getting your own studio where people come in and you just take amazing photos? Do you see yourself doing that in the near future?
Near future, no. As of right now, I don't believe a studio is 100% necessary unless you're diving into very specific type of work. Nowadays, you could use, I mean, there's so many photographers out there that you could just, you find at the local parks now, or your apartment
Yeah.
complex can now be your studio per se, with backdrops now and everything available. It's almost not necessary to have a studio, or it's not absolutely necessary. In some cases, yes, but in my case, not at this point. And-
Especially if it's not your full-time job.
Exactly,
Yeah, so
exactly.
that
And
makes
then
sense.
when it comes to pharmacy, opening up my own pharmacy, no, I'm good. I'm good on that. It is very, very difficult to have a successful pharmacy business out there in today's world because it's so saturated with very big corporations. And when it comes to buying drugs from these manufacturers, it gets very, very difficult and very, very pricey. It's very difficult, to say the least. So, no, thank you. I'm with a great company.
pass.
Yeah, I'm with a great company. I have the privilege of being with a company that allows me to indulge in other things besides work. So because I am working for this great company, I'm able to dive into photography, videography. I could go out dancing or start doing dance classes and still continue to box and just do all these things that I may not have that privilege if I owned my
Own
own
your own
pharmacy.
pharmacy because you have to run it.
Exactly.
You have to do everything you can.
I'm curious,
That
if
makes
you had
sense.
the opportunity to lean into just one space, would you take that opportunity to lean into like maybe photography or your dancing?
No,
No.
I know I
You-
wouldn't, just
you wanna
because
do, like,
I want to
freelance
do everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Life is just such a beautiful thing. There's so much out there. There was a joke that I remember in 7th grade, and it was my computer teacher. He just had this joke that I didn't understand at the time, but he just found it the most funniest thing in the world. And I forgot, or his name was Mr. Z, and he said, "Hey guys, there's a." It's finally been said that everything in the world is now published on the internet. No one laughed. No one laughed. He just started cracking up. Yeah. He just started cracking up. And he explained it to us in the sense like the world has so much to offer. There's so many things out there. It is literally impossible to do everything or to try it all or to write everything about it. You know, about every single atom that's out there, every single compound, every single event,
Yeah.
every single molecule. It's just so vast that I want to experience as much as I can in the short time that I am here on this earth. And I just want to say yes to it all and just experience it all because life is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's a good motto.
Yeah,
So,
it's
so
a-
deep
Mine is
answer. So
so-
much.
You're
so
so
much.
adventurous.
knowledge.
Like, what do you do for
I
fun?
know.
He
passion
speaks
is-
with so much passion.
It's like,
So it looks
okay.
like it shows that you're just passionate about everything that you do. So definitely I love taking pictures. I love looking good. I like dressing up. So
Definitely.
I mean, finding a good photographer is hard.
Look no
So I
further.
would definitely be coming to you because I know that I'll be, happy with
The
my-
results,
my
yeah.
results.
That's good.
So
I'm your man. Let's do it. Let's do
Let's
it.
do
I don't
it.
know what we're doing, but I'm just going to say yes to it.
What's the plan?
what's the plan?
Yeah, what are you
Yeah.
trying to?
I have this amazing idea.
None
You
always
have
has
one
to-
of the
S-
kids.
send
right?
it to
One of
me.
the kids.
Yeah, send it
One-
to me. We'll make it
Yeah,
happen.
but this one,
Okay, guys.
You know, it's just like so many people are afraid of the unknown, afraid of the unknown and what could happen. I embrace it. I love the unknown because I want to learn. I want to experience this, and you just have to say yes. You just have to take a leap of faith, and usually, no matter what happens at the end of the day, you're gonna be okay.
yes.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, Hakuna Matata.
I was just gonna ask. So, being that you're from San Antonio, you've been able to accomplish this much in this much in your life. What do you do for give back? You said you came from a high school where you guys didn't have so much. Do you go back to go say, hey, I've been through this. See what I've been able to accomplish. Like, what do you do? Any type of this kind of thing? Like,
I've gone to my high school just to see a few of my professors or teachers back then, and they've invited me to talk to the students, which is really great, and just getting to speak to the students that I was once sitting in their seat and showing that it is possible to get out of this type of environment, get out of this type of neighborhood, because it's rough. It's rough, especially with the kids or the type of I guess you say the population that we lived in or that we went to school with is very tough. I mean, sometimes you had to fight to survive. Like if not, you'll just get rolled over, if you know what I mean. People will pick on you, they'll bully you, they'll put you in uncomfortable situations, and it's sad. It really is sad. So it was my goal to make sure to get out of that. And hopefully I could inspire others to do the same as well by talking to them. And I'm always the positive person. You know, you're over here giving me compliments saying that I'm so, so vibrant, so positive. It's because you have to stay positive. Life is horrible. It will chew you up and spit you out, have no remorse. But are you going to look at the glass half full or is it half empty? That's your choice, not mine. It's what you make out of it. You can make life whatever you want. You just have to look at it at a certain way. So that's what I try to give back and try to open people's minds to show them that life is good. You're 6 feet above the ground.
Yep.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Well, so far, has COVID-19 had any negative impact on your photography career right now?
So it's definitely put it to a little bit of a halt, but it's given me the opportunity to learn something more, just learn something new. And this is when I picked up videography.
Yeah, okay.
So just because I'm not taking any more clients for photography during the whole entire COVID-19, doesn't mean I stop learning. I just keep on pushing myself, learn something new. So whether it's salsa dancing, whether it's videography, and who knows what's next, whether it's real estate or skydiving, which I've done a few times.
You've done skydiving. How you know?
Because he sounds very adventurous. That's why I was asking, what do you do for fun if you already do all these things?
You know, when your hobbies become when your hobbies become your work, it's like you don't work a day in your life. You know, I love what I do.
I like that.
Yeah. I love what I do. That's my fun, whether it's dancing, whether it's photography, whether it's just learning something new.
I can never go skydiving.
Has anybody else gone?
Yeah,
Never.
I went indoor.
I heard about that life.
Indoor skydiving.
Indoor I've done.
Liable.
Yeah.
In nature with
was
rocks.
fun.
I want to do that.
It was
one.
fun.
So I have a question for you. How do you find balance?
Between all
How,
of them.
between all these things, the pharmacy, the photography, the dancing, like how do you prioritize it? How do you find balance? Because I know you have a personal life too. You said a girlfriend and your brother. So I'm just guessing, how do you balance everything out?
You know, balance is, I guess you could say, also a relative term in the sense like, where's your threshold? Where do you find is too much? And I'm still trying to find it, I guess you could say. Luckily I have a very supportive team with my girlfriend, my biggest supporter. She knows that a lot is going on in life, and she's willing to work around it, whether it's giving her my time or hanging out with my family as well too. But good planning makes it go much smoother. If you plan well, you should be able to do almost everything. And this was one of my biggest problems. So during pharmacy, you had to, of course, go through an interview, and they ask you questions, and they asked me, what's my biggest weakness? And I told them my answer was, I say yes to too many things. I say yes to too many things, and it gets to a point where you don't have time for yourself.
Stretch yourself thin.
Yeah. So that's definitely a battle that I'm still fighting. But, I almost turned it into something that I love.
You have so much to gain from that.
Exactly. I'll sleep when I'm dead kind of thing. So like,
right now, your life to make that money. And I think you should also look into mentoring young kids. A lot of kids out here, they don't have someone to look up to. One example, when I was in college, I didn't have anybody to talk to, and I chose the wrong career. But having someone around like you to guide young boys and girls, where they want to go to, I think, that's something you should probably look into.
And that will go back to giving back to high
giving,
school.
Yeah.
I think not only for the young people, I think where everything is saying and his whole experience is very inspiring for people that are going through stuff with COVID-19, and just not to be depressed and just not to be hung up on what's going on right now, but like try to reinvent yourself. There are so many things out there that you can actually experience and fall in love with if you just be positive. So I think it was very, very insightful and very, very beautiful to see the points he brought up.
Honestly.
In line with what Nate has said, and in line with what Daniel has said, I feel like there's an overarching theme, which is when one door closes, another one opens.
Yeah.
You broke your hand, you found dancing.
Yeah.
So there's all those things. So even though the world is on a standstill or we're going slow-mo, there's other things you can learn. Maybe
pushing.
if you're 9 to 5, you can't do that no more. Maybe go learn photography,
Yeah.
go take a dance class. There's so many things out there, like you said. The sky is the limit. There's space, like everyone can thrive. So just find something. There's something out there. So I think that's the big theme in today's
agree.
one. I like that.
Yeah. It's very nice.
Very nice.
Well, it was great having you. I must say that I'm inspired, and I think we all are. So we just want to say thank you for hanging
you,
with
Daniel.
us.
Thank you, Daniel.
Love it. Thank you for being
Thank you.
here.
You're amazing. You're awesome. And stop saying you're still learning. You're a great photographer. So, guys, this is it. We will be back July 11th, and we have a very special guest, Shola Osison.
Osison.
Wait, I'm not
Osison.
Nigerian.
Oshunson.
Oshunson.
Oshuson. Let me say that one more time.
That's good.
Shala Oshuson.
Okay.
Thank you guys. Have a blessed weekend.
Bye.
Thank you for
Happy 4th of
watching.
July.
Bye, everyone.